Hello. Just a few moments. I'm adding this guy. Yeah, it's connecting.
Hi, Jam.
How are you, my good guy?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. And also, good evening to our audience here.
Yeah, our lovely audience, eh? Uh,
Yeah.
how's everything?
Wow. Another day of success, of course, and another day of production.
Yeah,
Of course, I woke up and 7 o'clock. I was at work, worked, pushed, and then I had a coaching session after work. Uh,
yeah,
Came back, then started to work on, the finance part of my life.
yeah, yeah.
Because it's one area that, we must master that one, the financial area. So basically, that's in a nutshell, my day. How was yours? What were you doing?
I'm having troubles, man. I'm catching this flu. One voice was saying to me that you're having this flu. Tell the audience that you cannot do it and just postpone. But then, what's truly valuable to you, it's always a calling. It keeps calling. So it kept calling to a point that I even had to go live with this flu going on. So I'm having this flu, but yes, no excuses. I'm still doing it. And in terms of my mental state, mentally, I'm doing well mentally. Emotionally, I'm doing well with the emotions and attachments in that space. Physically, I'm a bit tired because health problems. When you're catching flu, you're a bit lazy and all that. So, what's the other item? Spiritually, I'm doing amazing, man. I'm doing amazing. Always a strong relationship with my God. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. And yeah,
Mm.
amazing to have you again. Tonight we're speaking about a beautiful concept. Two worlds. I never knew that we live in two worlds. I always thought that it's only one world that we live in, but then it's a proven fact that we live in the inside world and the outside world. Let's speak about that, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm wishing you a speedy recovery, champ. That, that flu, should not have any hold on you. You must heal as
Yeah,
early as now.
most
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely, absolutely. So we're engaging on this now topic of inner world and outer world.
Yeah,
Now, the crux of the matter is that we must understand that the two worlds are connected.
yeah,
The two worlds are connected. Now, what does the inner world consist of? The inner world
yeah,
consists of your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your attitudes.
mm,
Your outer world consists of physical reality, and that is circumstance. Your physical reality, the objects that you see around you, the people that you see around you,
true, true.
and everything physical around you. That is your outer world. Now, there's a connection between these two worlds. And when you leave from your inner world to your outer world, you create.
I love it.
You leave from your inner world to your outer world, you create your life experience, right?
Yeah,
And when you leave from your outer world into your inner world, you react.
yeah,
So there are two parts to experience life. At any given moment in your life, you are responsible to create an experience or react and have a knee-jerk experience of what's happening at that moment in your life.
I love it. I love it. No, I thought you were still going on. Eh? I was enjoying it so much. Yeah,
Oh,
you spoke about beliefs, attitude, and emotions. With regards to beliefs, we always have these limiting beliefs, because the whole process of life is just to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Now, when it comes to limiting beliefs, it's always a case that for us to pursue something, there's always that one limiting belief that's holding us back until we then find out that here's the reality. That's the whole point where we unlearn and relearn. And when you speak about thoughts, I just don't know if we should tap into the subconscious and conscious mind in detail. But then with regards to thoughts, I think people have this misconception between intuition and the subconscious mind, just throwing them back to say, here are the limiting beliefs. Because the whole connection of the subconscious mind, the intuition, people might think that intuition is guiding them on a certain thing, whereas it might be the subconscious mind bringing out that limiting beliefs in the past to say, you cannot achieve this, you're not good enough for this. Now, people might think that that's intuition and I'm following my intuition, but not knowing that it might be a limiting belief from the past, which comes out as intuition in a wrong way. But then in a nutshell, it's a subconscious mind to say that you need to just see that guidance in your mind. Can you just give us a clarity on that?
Absolutely, Coach. I mean, let's start by defining what are limiting beliefs. And I think that the words are self-explanatory. If you look at limiting beliefs, these are beliefs that limit you. Limiting beliefs are beliefs that limit you.
Yeah.
And how do we get or acquire limiting beliefs? We get them through everything that you have been told that you cannot do as a child up until now. And if you now accept that as true, they become your beliefs, because the word believe means it is anything that you accept with absolute certainty, right?
Yeah.
So a belief is anything that you accept with absolute certainty. So you can think back from your childhood up to now. What have you been told by society, by media, by family, by friends? What have you been told that you cannot do? What have you been told that you cannot achieve? And to what extent have you accepted that?
Yeah.
Does your life currently demonstrate that you have accepted those beliefs? Because they were just mere words, but you have accepted them, and therefore they've created your reality. Right? You have accepted them because we started by saying, if you live from the outer world into the inner world, you react, right?
Yeah.
And one of the powerful reactions that create a deep subconscious belief is an emotional experience. Any significant emotional experience that you've ever had in your life is deeply rooted in your subconscious mind right now. It's there. And whenever something similar comes up in your life, you'll react the same way.
Yeah.
Right? You will react the same way because you are hardwired according to that experience. Because the brain is hardwired to protect you, to save you, and to make sure that you don't tap into places that are unknown, into circumstances that will put you in danger. Right? That is why comfort zone is comfortable. Because the brain wants comfort. It does not want to tap into the unknown. It does not, it's not hardwired to do that. It is not hardwired to be challenged into exploring new things. That is why change, for many people, is tough. And naturally so, because true. The nature of the brain, that's where we should be, in the safe zone, in the comfort zone. So limited beliefs are beliefs that limit you. And we are born biologically inheriting some of those beliefs from our generations or the genealogy of our family. For example, poverty consciousness in itself is a limiting belief. Because if no one in my family has ever been wealthy or, for example, a millionaire, what convinces me that I will be a millionaire in my lifetime? Right? So therefore, my brain biologically is hardwired to believe that I must just be a middle class or be there or below. Then that's where I must end. So we have biological limiting beliefs that we inherit. And we also have societal limiting beliefs that we inherit. What are those? It says, okay, go to school from 6 years to 18 years. You must not do anything else in that period. After 18 years, make
Correct.
sure that you go to varsity, get a job afterward, work for someone else, save for retirement, and then die. That is the paradigm, and it's limiting,
True, true,
right? That is the paradigm that we are exposed to from our societal perspective.
true,
So
true.
you want to engage yourself and find out what limits you, because it shocks many people. They will come to me and they tell me, you know what, I've tried everything. I went to every seminar, I've attended every course, I've read this book and that, but nothing
Yeah,
seems to work, right? Nothing seems to work out. It's like, you know what the limiting belief is like?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
when you start a car, right?
Mm.
The engine is on. You put in your car into gear one.
Yeah, yeah.
Your car is in gear one and you want to go, but your handbrake is up. What will happen? Are you going to move?
I love the example.
Right.
Yeah,
So you did everything correctly. Your key is in, you started the car, your gear is on gear one, meaning you are ready to move, but one thing is holding you back. That is the handbrake. That is the limiting belief. Because whatever you do, if you do not
yeah,
deconstruct what's in here and construct new beliefs, you will never rise above your beliefs. That's just a fact.
yeah, yeah.
You need to, if you want to rise above your beliefs, you must first change your beliefs. You must change your inner world. Then you will start having a new outer world.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. You know, I, I think also from my side, it's pointless to say I'm going to a networking event, I'm going to attend a webinar, but you still have limiting beliefs, because those people will tell you how you can just achieve success. But then what is the whole point of listening to them, whereas there are still limiting beliefs instilled within you? So what is the whole point of you to say that I'm going to an entrepreneurship seminar, but within you, you still have that limiting belief to say you can never pursue entrepreneurship when you are young. You can never pursue, this kind of thing with those state of reality. So another one is just to say that what is the whole point of you saying that I'm going to attend maybe a property seminar, but then you still have limiting belief to say that I cannot venture into that space without that hard cash? Now, what is the whole point of you listening to a mentor as you still have limiting beliefs? So a perfect way to deal with this thing, it is just to say whenever something new is being introduced, you then communicate or write down the previous belief that you had on that thing. Now, when you write it down and you communicate it, that's when they'll give you new information, because the whole process of life is just to learn, unlearn, and relearn. But then for you to be stagnant to say, this is the information that I have in mind, and I'm not going about living it. It's the whole point to say, what is the whole point of having a coach, a mentor, attending this, webinar events? Because if you believe that you cannot pursue entrepreneurship at an early young age, you should communicate it and this should resonate to you. If you feel that you cannot go into the property space without having hard cash, you should resonate it and they'll explain to you how it can be done. But then what is the whole point to say that you're going to have this information, but then inside of you, there's limiting beliefs? The whole information will be vague. So yeah, that's the whole point of the beliefs. And we speak about the inner world and the outside world. I always had this case where people always had this complaints, complaining about politics, environment, social factors, technological factors, the legislation. And it's a case that also when you just fully live in the inside world, where you can just apply the emotional intelligence, being in control with every situation and any chaos, it's a case that you can be in control. Because the moment the outside world come and you don't have an inside world that is so strong, you get overwhelmed. You can be overwhelmed by the pandemic, which is something outside of you. But then if you feel that I am living inside my own reality in the inner world, the moment anything that relates to politics, environment, legislation, the pandemic, you can still live with it, because the problem is one, when people are not in control of their lives, whatever outer world comes into their life, they just react. It goes back to
Yeah,
say also with anger, when someone just provokes you because your inner world is not strong with regards to the emotional intelligence, you tend to react. When the pandemic hits, you tend to react. You're more of a
absolutely.
reactive person more than a proactive person. So I think it's a case that we should just go about devoting to the inner world, because even with the criticism, if it comes, it's no use. If people don't compliment you, it's still okay. If they do, it's still okay, because you can still tell yourself those kind of words, you know. It goes
Yeah,
back to the
absolutely.
concept of self-love, self-confidence, you know, those kind of things. It's a huge concept inside the inside world, which has many things that are so underrated and very important in our lives.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Champ. You said it very well. You want to create your life, not react, because that will totally destroy you.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
now picking up from what you've said, now I just want to share an experience of one guy that I know regarding limiting beliefs.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and what I've said is that the emotional experiences that are deep, that are significant, that have happened in our lives as kids, as teenagers, they go straight into our subconscious mind and they are stored there. And every
yeah.
similar experience that we'll ever have later on in life, subconsciously will react the
Yeah,
same way, right?
true,
So
true.
this guy, what was happening in his life is that as a child, his mother was an alcoholic, and you know, she was never there for him, and she didn't take care of him.
Yeah,
So it got to a point whereby the mother got complications, or I don't know what happened, but there was no connection between him and the mom, right? And the mother left him, right? So he became motherless from that point. But
yeah.
all this time, as a child, obviously, naturally, you are longing for a mother's love, a mother's attention.
I understand that.
So
Yeah,
it affected him deeply emotionally, because subconsciously he tells us that he equated what happened that time to the fact that uh, the mother abandoned him, right?
mm-mm.
So when he now got into relationships as an adult with women, or even friendships, right? Subconsciously, he is hardwired not to experience
Yeah,
that pain again of abandonment, right? So in relationships or in friendships, he will be the first to leave or to break that relationship so that he saves himself from that pain of someone abandoning him, right? So he has
yeah,
lost, good friends over the years. Sometimes even good women who were well-meaning and would start the future with him, but he chose to leave or end the relationship because subconsciously he must be the one to leave first so that he does not experience the pain of abandonment again. So that is the power of limiting beliefs. He was ending relationship after relationship up until he was a loner. He was alone, and he didn't want anything to do with another human being, right?
yeah, yeah.
So that's how deep and strong limiting beliefs are, and the power they can have on your life if you don't really you raise them into awareness and do something about them. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. So I said that there are things in the inner world. These are your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions. Your outer world is circumstance, is the physical reality, your objects and the people that you see around you.
Yeah,
Now there are three laws that I want to touch on in terms of this connection between the inner world and the outer world.
yeah. Bless us, bless us.
The first law is the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect. Now, the cause is in the inner world. The
Yeah,
effect is seen in the outer world. right? So I can tell you right now that the structure, the nature, and everything about your life in the outer world right now is a reflection of your consciousness internally, your emotions, your dominant thoughts, your dominant feelings, your dominant beliefs, even the limiting beliefs. So they give you an idea as to what is working out, what is not working out. And if you
True.
can align those two and see the connection, it is when you can start mastering your life, because you are able to then take charge, because you are responsible 100% of what happens to you. Do you know that? Whether it's good or bad.
Irrespective.
Yeah, you are totally responsible. Now, let me ask this question. A tree, of course, starts with a what? A seed, right? Or
Yeah.
seeds, whatever the case is. But what determines the height of the tree, the extent to which it will grow?
Yeah.
What determines that height?
How you nourish it.
Yes, right. So essentially is the strength of the roots, right?
Yeah.
So if the roots are strong, the tree will shoot up. Now, the cause
Yeah. Yeah.
was the seed and the nourishment you gave it to build the strong roots. It was not the fruits. The fruits are the result. They are the effect that we see in the outer world. The inner world are the roots. We do not see the inner world.
Yeah.
They are underground, but they determine the height of the tree. The same thing with a human being. The roots are in your inner world. So to the extent that you will grow and be successful in life is determined by the strength of your roots, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your consciousness internally. So
Loving
we
it.
gave an example of poverty consciousness that we inherit from our families, that we cannot grow beyond our limiting beliefs or our beliefs. So to change or to help the tree to grow optimally, you must nourish it. You must now
Yeah.
create new systems that have not been there from generation to generations. How do you deconstruct beliefs? I think it's something that we'll touch on later on, because I still want to state these three laws. So that's the law of cause and effect. You
Yeah.
cause something to happen. And many people want to copy the fruit, not just the fruits, but the leaves and everything, but they forget about the roots. You must admire the roots, not the fruits. Admire the effort, admire the steps that it took to get there, and mirror it. Don't mirror the fruits. They wanted car, they wanted money, they wanted house, they want the fame, they want the status. Those are effects in the outer world. Those are,
The whole time.
yes, those are effects, those are results,
Yeah.
byproducts, right? So you
I love
cannot
it.
want the fruits. You are self-defeating if you do that. That's why people end up being miserable, because that's not the way to do it. You must copy the roots, don't copy the fruits.
I love it. Let's go on to the
Yeah.
other laws.
Next law is the law of momentum.
Yeah.
The law of momentum says the direction in which your predominant thoughts is leading you into will continue with momentum until something changes your trajectory, right? Meaning
Yeah.
that if you are having this poverty consciousness that I'll always be poor, no one in my family was ever wealthy, those are your predominant thoughts that you have on a daily basis. And that consciousness will continue until something profound happens and helps you to change the direction of your thoughts, the direction of your momentum. And we call that impulse in science terms. So
Yeah.
something must happen. And too often what I see is that it takes a painful event for us to change our predominant thoughts. People are sort of all of a sudden inspired to change once they experience immense pain or massive pain. Well, that can be good because that pain, no matter how it comes, it helps you to change your beliefs and it changes your focus totally in life, and you start to live a life that has meaning and purpose. So you want to pay
Love it.
attention. You want to pay attention to your predominant thoughts daily, right? What do you think of most of the time? And what you can do to do that, I can just give one simple exercise that you can do by yourself every single day. Just
Yeah.
any time of the day, just stop and ask yourself, what am I thinking? Don't judge anything. Just look and observe. What are you thinking? Right? Every single day, track your thoughts and see whether there's a pattern in those thoughts from day to day, week to week, month to month. And then you will
Yeah.
be able to see, it's another way to see limiting beliefs actually and discover them yourself. Just doing that simple exercise. What am I thinking on a daily basis? Maybe you are washing dishes. Just for 5 seconds, ask yourself, what am I thinking? And observe, listen, and find out what's there. Maybe
Yeah.
you're about to sleep. Obviously, when you're about to sleep, normally people who are stressed, they have these thoughts flooding their minds.
Yeah.
Thinking then, you ask yourself, you can do it 3, 4, 10 times a day. This activity is a powerful exercise because it exposes your predominant thoughts. Many of us are unconscious anyways, because 95% of who we are and what we do come from
Yeah.
our subconscious mind. We're only conscious 5% of the time, and not that we use the entire 5%.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
at people like Albert Einstein. It is said that he used less than 10% of his brain. So if we are saying we are conscious 5%, then many of us are on 0.01 instead of brain, So
I will agree with that. Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
good kind of thing. Yeah.
And
So that's the second law. And the last law that I would like to share is the law of attraction. I think many of us have been
relative.
exposed to that, know about it. Yeah. The law of
Yeah.
attraction, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
says that attract to your life anything that matches your vibration, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
attract to your life anything that matches your vibration. And what is your vibration? It is your thoughts predominantly. It
Yeah.
is your emotions predominantly, and
Yeah.
your beliefs there predominantly. Then they create a vibration that you send out because the mind is a sending and a receiving set. It's a sending and a receiving station, right?
I,
So you
I'm
broadcast
having a
thoughts.
question here. I don't know
Yes.
if I should just stop you or we'll just tackle them later on. It states,
Okay.
so your daily thoughts can limit you from going for your goal.
Absolutely. Right? Because if at the back of those thoughts there is fear, like, what if I
Yeah.
fail?
Yeah.
Right? So it's a limiting thought, it's a limiting belief by itself to say, you're always thinking about failure of not achieving or striving or pursuing that goal. So thoughts can definitely limit you. That's why you must pay attention to what you think. Unconsciously or consciously, we're always thinking. At every second of the day, we are
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
thinking. What
True.
matters is not whether you are thinking. What matters is what are you thinking? You understand? Yeah. So what are you thinking is the important part.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. You spoke about the law of attraction, and yeah, I want to share a story. It's so close to my heart, and I always attribute my life to this. To say, when you become right, that's a personal quote from my side. When you become right, the right people will come to you. The right opportunities will flow to you. Now, if
Absolutely.
you having this vision to say, I want to be this person of having so much impact in the world, the moment you have that mental picture and you start showing up as that new person, then law of attraction comes into place. To say, yes, you're looking for opportunity, but then opportunity needs to know the address. For you to have people coming through do they know who you are? Do they know what you are doing? Because people say that I don't have any opportunities, but did you take time to show up as that new person? Because when you show up as this new person, you start having these people being attracted to you. The kind of requests that you get also from social media are aligned with the kind of content that you post. I know I, for one, I always get requests from people that are into entrepreneurship, empowerment, because the moment I show up as this new person, I'm attracting those people. The moment I come up and show as this new person, I'm attracting those opportunities. So it goes back to law of attraction. Also, how you show up as a person, you'll be most probably getting the kind of thing that you always display. But then you'll be so mad about it to say, why are people coming back to me? Because the person that you are showing up to be, it goes hand in hand with the kind of people that you attract in your life. There's a saying to say that you need to make sure that if you don't have people going with you on places, go there and find people who have the same interest as you. So even if you go to places that are most similar with what you love, you'll get those kind of people. So the moment you say that I want to be this coach, I want to be this speaker, I want to be this person, the moment you show up with this new person and apply those habits that the new person will be doing, that's the moment where you get people being attracted to you. Let's say that that coaches, they go for networking events. You need to start showing up on those networking events because you start living that new person. Not to say that I want to be this person globally, but I don't have the resources. I'll start showing up in a later stage. But then I, for one, I apply the habits of people who are going to networking events. I know for my weekends, in most of the time, I'll be spending it on how most coaches do, how I spend my social media or how I display or position my branding. It's more aligned with how others are doing who are in the same space as me. So it's a case that for you to attract opportunities or also attract people in your life, you need to show up as the new person and apply those habits into practice, those thinking, those thoughts, also on the kind of the behavior, the lifestyle. You spoke about this concept to say when you spend 28 days on something, it comes into instinctively rather. Then when you apply it for 6 months, it becomes a lifestyle. To say for the first time I went live, it was more of something new because of the pandemic. But then for now, it's just coming out just spontaneously, so I can just go live anytime, every day. Stuff like that.
Yeah, Coach, on that note of going live, I just want to commend you that, when you started small, but look at you now. I mean, you've come a long way, and I just want to congratulate you, Coach. You did absolutely well, and you are still doing well. So keep up the good work.
Yeah. Most appreciated.
So you spoke about following a group and being affected by the people you surround yourself with, right?
Yeah.
It is said that if you follow the masses, you can never go further than the masses, right? If you follow the masses, you can never go further than the masses. But if you create your own path, you will discover places that the masses are not aware of, and therefore create a new reality or a new experience or a new movement. Now, I like the word that you used, become, right? Let's just spend a moment on it. I mean, become. What does it mean? Let's listen to it. Become. So you must be to come, right? So you must be that so that you can come, right? You be in your inner world, then you come out into the outer world. Like that. Are we together, Coach?
Yeah.
So
you're hitting the nerve.
So the become is a very powerful word, because even yesterday we touched on it. So it's about you, in a world. You must be that so that you can come out into the outer world. And that is how we see that connection between the inner world and the outer world.
Are you blessing me, hey? You're
Absolutely,
blessing me.
absolutely.
You're blessing
Thank you so much, Coach.
me. Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's more of a cause effect relationship. You need to
Yeah,
be in order for you to come out. Yeah, I
absolutely.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
So
It's
become, be so that you can come out into the inner world. I mean, the outer world like that.
the power of having a mission statement and also navigating through a vision, to say, here is my mission statement. I want to be this person. The moment you apply that mission statement and you have a vision in place, the kind of person that you're going to become, after living that mission statement, after applying that vision, after acting on those daily steps, it's something pretty
Yeah,
amazing. But then the word become was just
absolutely.
underneath, but it has so much deeper meaning. And I think this should be the takeaway for the audience to say, become, be in your inner world. So when you come out of the outer world, you'll be coming out as this person that you like to be, the person that will give you a life that you can really be proud of. So it's become the right person so that you can have the right people coming to you, the right opportunities coming to you, and the right life that was meant for you,
Yeah,
that was
ab-
chosen for you. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
it's very
So
profound.
in all areas of your life, I mean, finances, the workplace,
Yeah,
health, spiritually, you need to become wealth so that you will experience wealth. There are people who play lotto, and some of them they win lotto, right? But research and statistics show that a year later or years later, the people are worse off than when they started, right? Without the
exactly,
money.
exactly.
So it is because they've never become wealth. They had a scarcity consciousness, even though they had 20 million in their bank account. They were able to get wealth temporarily, but they were not able to keep it because of the scarcity consciousness. That is the inner world. So the inner world will always win over the outer world, whatever happens, right? If you do not take
Yeah,
charge of the inner world, right? Whatever success you experience by manipulation, it will be temporary. Right? So we cannot talk about things like Lotto as though they are wealth making scheme. They are not like that. They actually lead people deep, deep down into debt. I mean, you had 200,000, I mean, maybe 200 million rents, but you are in debt after 5 years. That does not make sense, right? So expect someone to have done something worthwhile with that money, but they blew it. That's why we see these shows on Mzansi Magic. I blew it. I mean, people
it makes
blow it.
sense.
Yeah, of the scarcity consciousness. All right. So it's about who you become. You be in your inner world so that you can come out into the outer world and be that person. Right?
It's, ah, it's getting heated. It's getting heated.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there any questions that you see here?
I'm not seeing any questions. I'll just wait for them as I make this final comment. Just to wrap it up. You spoke about the lottery and all that. It's a case that as individuals, if we can have a strong foundation inside of us, a strong foundation. I see
Absolutely.
many things, yes, but then the core message is just to say, if you have a strong foundation, then it's a case that you set for life, because you have millionaires or billionaires who are just moving from being the top 5, but then going back in a space of 5 months, because you have the foundation. Even if you have a foundation and you get retrenchment, you have a foundation to say, I can always bounce back. But then if you don't have any foundation, as you say that you win a lottery, but you don't have any ways on how you can just manage it. It's a case that also with where we come from, we'll just see our peers having this inheritance money, probably something like 2 million. And in the next few months or next 2 years, it's already out. They can never bounce back. But then if you just have a solid foundation to see if you become within you, then the outside world, irrespective, regardless, you set for life.
Absolutely.
Now, you
That,
can never
that,
you can never take away any wealth from all those people that have just, dwelled much on themselves before they can pursue wealth. Because even if the pandemic hits, they always have a way to bounce back because they have a strong foundation inside of them.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the universe is governed by laws. And if you want to win at the game of life, you need to abide by these laws. If you are contradicting those laws, then you are calling trouble upon yourself, right? So
Yeah.
the bamboo tree, or yeah, the bamboo takes 5 years to build its roots underground. It is never seen for 5 years. But when it shoots up, that tree can reach heights of 15 meters above ground or more. So it's about this foundation, the roots, that you must make sure that they are strong.
I love it.
If the roots are strong, the fruits are definite. It's a guarantee. They will be there, right? And even when there are challenges, when there's wind blowing, you will not be blown by the
wind. Away. Yeah.
You will be standing firm because your roots are strong. And we're talking about being authentic and being centered in your identity, right? Whatever's happening around you, you are not, stimulated and impulsively reacting into what others are doing or what they are saying. All right.
I have a comment. It states, but sometimes it's not easy to build a foundation due to the situations around us. I sense a limiting belief. Let's tackle that. But sometimes it's not easy to build the foundation due to the situation around us.
Okay. You are absolutely spot on, Coach. Situation around you is the outer world. It's not you. Now, the situation is the situation. It's not you. We have the situation of COVID right now. It's a situation. But does it limit you? Does it prevent you from being online? Does it limit you from going on courses? Does it limit you from developing yourself, reading a book, attending online courses? Does it limit you on calling your financial institutions and making debt arrangements? Does it limit you on the kind of networks you can build in this situation of COVID-19? No, that is a complete limiting belief. Crash it right now and destroy it. Right? So,
yeah.
Do not react, create, live from the inner world and create situations. Right? Situations will always be there in life. If we wait for the perfect time is now. There's no other perfect time because now is the only time that we have.
True.
All right. So I hope that I've answered the person who asked the question. Yeah.
Let me just add on that. It goes back to my side as well. For one, if you're into speaking, you would know that with the pandemic going on, it hit us a lot. So our career was a big compromise in terms of us having speaking gigs and having those events. But then, little did I know that I will be able to reach a global market through these live engagements. But then back then, I was never active on online. I was just all about speaking physically on platforms. Now, when the pandemic happened, which is a situation, I asked myself the right questions. Now, this was the situation. How is it serving me? How can I just go about adapting? Because as humans, the whole point of us being humans and being so beautiful is that we can adapt to any environment. Now, other animals cannot adapt. Hence, when they have climatic conditions which are severe, they die and all of that. But then as humans, we can adapt irrespective of the politics, environment, legislation, climate. So even with the pandemic, I got a huge strain on my speaking gig, on my speaking career rather. But then I managed to now reach a global market. I managed to now speak at audience of probably more than 18 countries. But then little did I know that that could take in place because I always had the perception to say the situation happened. But then I asked myself the right questions. Now this happened. How is it serving me? How can I just see the positivity in this? How can I just navigate from this situation? Because I'm a human. I need to adapt to forever changing times.
Champ, you have just illustrated how to create your life. You did not back down and say, you know what, I'll wait for 2021. 2020 is gone. I'm just going to be, you know. You're not about that, you know. And I remember back in March, we in the car while we were talking, we had, you know, we spoke for hours on end. And it was all accumulating to what's happening now. And look at what you're doing right now. You see, so you took action steps that made sure that get an upside from this downside. And if you can always do that with any challenge, see an upside for any downside, then you neutralize its effect on you and you are centered. And therefore you can always deal with that. So that's basically what's happening with the inner and outer world, and you've just basically touched on it. Now, change is a constant in life. There will always be changes.
Exactly.
Change is a constant in life, and these pandemics are cyclical. I mean, every 7 to 10 years, we expect a pandemic. We had Ebola, we had swine flu, we had all types of pandemics in previous decades. So it's not a surprise. We must not act as though this is the first time or it's a new thing, you know. If you can learn from experiences, any other similar experience, you will be able to channel yourself and know how to deal with it, right? But if you don't learn, then you'll always have a destructive behavior and a destructive reaction that you will, you know, experience when the challenge comes upon you.
Let's wrap it up, and I promise to share it on the IGTV as well. So it's going to be saved because it had to be saved. It was just too much content, man. I'm even in a stage to say that I can always go back to revise it and listen to it one more time. It was more of me learning as well than giving, you know, information out there. So it was more of us learning from each other and also from the audience. And yes, I appreciate the audience for coming through. I appreciate you, mate. And yes, let me just save it before that time hits. I just hope this time around it's not going to be an issue, eh?
Yeah, just try that.